and welcome here to the home of Jan, the Smiling Sun Champion and Ferrari's biggest fan, as we are going to take a look at the reaction to the fourth round of the FIA Formula 1 World Championship 2024 season, which of course was the Japanese Grand Prix, where I felt, we as Ferraris did a fantastic job over here, maximizing the opportunity. So we will tell you everything about the race in this now traditional race report over here from our home, sweet home. As you can see, our wonderful setup with which we can of course win many races and world championships. And then here we will show you on that beautiful Ferrari Scarlet Red Retina iMac how the race finished. Obviously we cannot show you the most important moments sadly, but we can then also show you the final classification and how it looks like and how good actually it looks for Ferrari. So where do we start? It was a fantastic beginning to the race, but overall, I felt like the build-up to the race, Ferrari was a little bit on the back foot because clearly this was one of Red Bull's strongest tracks. But then again, we won Australia. Oh yay! So since we won Australia, it basically meant that we definitely wanted to keep it going, right? So I was very satisfied, that the Ferrari put in a good decent performances, but I was a little bit worried, that maybe that ultimate pace wasn't quite there. However, I did realize, for example, after we then look at some of the longer run pace, that it should be relatively okay qualifying. So basically, you had again Sainz out qualifying Leclerc, so Sainz starting fourth, Leclerc only eighth. So that's a very unusual for Charles. And yeah. Basically, we had two starts, because there was this big collision between Ricciardo and Albon. Again, a bit of a racing incident. Maybe Albon just got a super drive and got stuck next to Ricciardo. But once again, just like in the previous three races, the top protagonists, so to speak, the top drivers, they basically retained their positions. So, there's not much drama now happening at the starts. Everybody, can just get off the line almost at the same time. Obviously, the reactions should be very similar. And as a result, usually the way they qualified, the way they also finished the first lap, and this was also almost the case, with that second restart, of course, after half an hour delay, where only Charles Leclerc made a position on his future teammate Lewis Hamilton, of course. So that was very interesting, and then it was a very strategic race, right? So what I did like about what Ferrari did, for example, was that they were not afraid to run long, and they did start on the mediums, like which I would, for example, often do. And as a result, we were able to lead the race, okay, with both Sainz and obviously with Leclerc as well, which is very important because, if the safety car happens, right, or if there is, for example, a red flag, then all of a sudden you get the track position. So that's great job, okay, there, that we were able to take it to the Red Bulls, and you could see that, both of them, both Red Bulls, they had to do some overtaking on a track, but clearly we were missing few tenths, 2, 3, 4, up to half a second a lap, I would say, during the whole race, as we will show you. There were some great moments, but for Leclerc, doing on the one-stop strategy, I think it worked out brilliantly, because basically Charles was able to lead the race. Sainz also stopped a little bit later, so we went from medium with Sainz to, then using the medium again, so he had to then pit for the hard. And for Leclerc, obviously starting on medium, then switching to hard on lap 26, sadly made that little error that would probably give him more of a chance to find his teammate, because he was driver of the day, just like I was, for example. So yeah, great job. Once he obviously changed, the tires, I felt this is exactly what you need to do, right? And sometimes, on the medium, if obviously the track surface, is not too abrasive, you can actually go a little bit longer over lap 30. Suzuka is 53 laps. And then when you get to lap, let's say 33, you just put on the soft tires and you can be faster, because the soft tires is actually also the third hardest compound out of the 5 compounds that we have in the 2024 season. But they basically did the medium hard, and it worked out really well, because Leclerc was again, able to jump, all of the guys, especially Alonso, for example, who also had an alternate strategy. He was also able, for example, to get ahead of Piastri, and also was nicely couple of seconds, I believe, yes, ahead of Norris pretty much throughout then the race, once again, he got on him, with his first stop, which actually for Norris was already his second stop. So you can tell that Ferrari, did a great job, especially, the tire management was really, really good. For Sainz, obviously, he was, on a course to maybe even challenge for a victory. Also, for example, Leclerc, fought with Verstappen, but you could see the tire difference was just too much, I think, at the lap of 20, 21, 22. So that was a pity. But then, with Carlos Sainz, basically, he stopped, and especially at the end, and he was able to pull in some great moves. For example, on Hamilton, on Russell, into the spoon. So he's definitely on it. I have to say, he's the informed driver, and then once he put on the hard tires, he was able to dispatch Norris relatively easily. And then with Charles, they had the difference. They didn't fight so hard, so I was thinking, okay, what's going to happen, right? Who will they fight for the podium? But no, third and fourth place. We again maximize the points. Again, if Saudi Arabia, if Sainz wasn't out, clearly he had definitely opportunity to maybe even be second in a championship. But Oliver Beerman did a great job there. So we maximizing the points, and this is exactly what we need, because the big upgrade is coming, and I'm sure the next tracks will suit us a little bit better than the Suzuka, which again also being the Honda's home race, that's where Red Bull were really, really strong. We couldn't do anything about it, so let's take a look over here. How it finished. So we can take our lovely iMac over here, and if we can turn it for you guys, okay, so that you can see exactly what happened. So right up here, you can see, in the classification that, we finished 20 and 25 seconds, behind. So that's not bad, losing about, half a second a lap on average. So again, we are right up there. Sadly, we didn't get the fastest lap time, but you can see, that we had pretty much the rest of the teams covered. So that's very, very good. And again, for Perez, it was quite difficult actually for him, to get up to that second place, but sadly, we couldn't quite stop him. Okay, so this is how it finished, and after the fourth round, we can now see over here how the championship looks like. So this is the Formula 1 Drivers' Championship, and we can see, for example, Verstappen leading with 77, but we are right up there, Perez 13 points behind, but you can see Charles Leclerc with 59 being 18 points behind. So if Verstappen doesn't finish in China and Leclerc finishes at the second, he can be leading championship. Sainz with 55 obviously being 22 points back, and the rest, they pretty much out of it. It's very interesting that Lewis Hamilton only 9, the future Ferrari driver, Stroll there with 9, obviously displacing Oliver Beerman, who definitely should have been there, as well for his performance. If he has gotten 6th or even the 5th place, which he deserved, he would actually still be ahead of Hamilton despite only doing 1 race. So this is how the championship, now looks like, as you can see over here. Okay, so we'll put it nicely back over here for you guys to see. Okay, and yeah, this was the Japanese Grand Prix. We were again very it was a very nice tactical race. So actually there were some overtaking, different strategies, people going, at the beginning obviously it was a little bit sunny, so you were thinking, okay, maybe we go for even 3 stop, 2 stop should be the norm, but Leclerc made the 1 stop work really, really well, and this is exactly what we need. So this was a solid race, obviously not a victory, what a pity, we definitely deserve the victory over there, but I'm sure it is coming. We will see what the 5th race of the FIA Formula 1 Championship 2024 brings. I cannot wait to see Ferrari challenging for the victory. Let's go!